Yeah. So, well, and this really came from, we're working with a church right now on their website, and just giving them some help, and they're actually doing a whole rebuild of it. So they came to us asking what we recommended and what they should do. So it kind of got us right back in a starting position of, okay, if you could redo your website from ground up, what would you do?
Hello and welcome to Questions and Answers with Red River Leadership. My name is Nolan.
My name is John Dahl.
And we are so grateful that you would join us today or watch it later. We are here to be a resource for you, for leaders, for worship leaders, for ministries, whatever your life looks like. We are here to help give you a winning edge. Right, John?
Yes.
And today we are going to talk a little bit about your website. Goodness, how many questions do we get about websites and help building websites and what they should look like and what's going to be effective in a digital sphere, a digital landscape that is ever changing every single day. New technologies are coming out, and just culture, we're using it differently, especially after this last year. Where everything seemed to be revolving around websites and Zoom and digital technology. It just continues to exponentially grow and change. And so as church leaders, as just leaders in any kind of business, it is important to make sure that you have the best resources available. Sorry, I got distracted by John coughing there. I was like, excuse you.
It's like I have a tickle in my throat.
Right.
I'm gonna mute myself quick.
We want to have things. We want to be present online to have real tools, real connections with people out there. So John, tell us a little bit about what you've been working on lately.
Yeah. So, well, and this really came from, we're working with a church right now on their website, and just giving them some help, and they're actually doing a whole rebuild of it. So they came to us asking what we recommended and what they should do. So it kind of got us right back in a starting position of, okay, if you could redo your website from ground up, what would you do? And so we really just talked about, who are you trying to attract to your website? Not only attract your website, but who do you want your website to talk to when they first land on your page? Are you thinking about it in terms of insiders, the people that are already connected, already doing things as a part of your church? Are you speaking insider language? It's something that Noel and I talk about a lot. Steering away from our insider language, things that we are so used to talking about as church leaders and church staff members. We just have a way of saying things and certain terms that we use that if somebody who's never been to your church before, or maybe never been to church before, they're gonna have no idea what you're talking about. So steering clear of some of those terms, and just making it really easy to find the information that they're looking for. So a few pointers just right off the bat for me are, your landing page needs to be very thought out and very specific. When people first land on your website, what do they say now? It takes 3 seconds for them to decide if they're going to just click back and try another website. One example I think about is, we were taking a youth mission trip to New York, and I was assistant youth director at the time, and our youth director asked me if I'd be willing to find the church that we take the kids to while we're on this mission trip. And I was like, yeah, of course, that'd be great. And I found myself on a church website, and literally that 3 second rule. I mean, 3 to 5 seconds, I go, click off, scroll down, click the next one, scroll down, click the next one. And it occurred to me, that was the first time I had been church shopping. I hate that term, but it's a term that people are real, and it's a real thing that people are going to do. They're gonna click through, and if they're gonna go, well, let's try to find a new church, or and there's always going to be kind of the word of mouth, which is going to be the most effective way to hear about new churches. But Google searching is certainly right up there in the top 3 ways that people are going to find your church. So when people land on your page, what is your cover image or video? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Is there a strong call to action right away? If you know, people are probably trying to find out where you're located and what time your service is, especially if you're back worshiping in person now. If you're worshiping online or only online or doing any kind of pre-recorded, you want to be able to find that service really easily right on that landing page. And call to action also means if you're promoting an event coming up, one thing we do at Good Shepherd now is we always have our next thing that we're promoting in worship that's coming up for people to be involved in, especially now as we're coming back together in person. We want to make sure that that's really easy to find. Another thing, just in terms of your navigation, we found that less is more. And that goes for a lot of things in the church world. And I think for us, we feel like the more we have available, there's more ways for people to get involved. But I think the reality is the more we have available, there's more room for confusion, and there's more room for people to get kind of lost in all these different opportunities and different things that are going on.
And let's
ultimately,
sorry, just interject quick.
Yep.
That reminds me of when my wife and I are trying to find a movie to watch on the weekend or whatever, date night. Let's watch something. Let's watch a movie or a show. It's like, well, what do you want to watch? Well, I don't know. And it's like, instead of looking through the selection that you have at home, now it's like, well, we've got Netflix, we've got Hulu, we've got Disney Plus, we've got HBO Max. We don't, but HBO Max, Showtime, and all these things, and all these streaming services, and there's Amazon Prime and everything. Okay, just to find one to look through, which has hundreds and hundreds of options, like just to find one of the 8 streaming services that I'm going to go with takes an hour. And then by the time we even pick which streaming service we're going through, we could have watched 2 movies. And then once we find that, then to find something in there, like it just takes forever.
Yeah.
So I think the more options that you have, the harder it is for us to choose, versus we have worship now, and this is our service project, or we have this now, and this is, we're having a connect group, or we have whatever it is. Like the less you have, all in line with your mission, which we've had videos on that before, having a white hot mission. But okay, these are the 2 things. This is the one thing that we want them to get involved in. Yep.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. No, I love it. That is a great reference. I think, and I think the first argument you're going to hear is, well, church is different. Well, yes, it is. And we'd all like it to be different. But the reality is people are looking at these experiences in similar ways. I mean, just the other day we were laughing at home, like, why doesn't our Roku button have like all of the shortcuts on it? It takes so long to get over to Disney Plus now, or it takes so long to get over. So I love that. It's true. Mm-hmm. And that's the unfortunate reality. And I don't know if it's unfortunate or not. That's just the reality right now, is that attention spans are shorter. They're different. We've talked about how Netflix and Disney and all these major entertainment companies are changing the way they create content, create movies. That's something for us to take very seriously. And in terms of,
just thinking about, like, there are so many things in our daily schedules that are fighting for our time.
Yes.
Attention. Like whether it be meetings or work or family things or hockey or swimming or VBS or whatever, like everything is fighting for your attention, for your time.
Yeah.
And so just having 20 options on your website is taking away from giving them, this is the next best step for you to have a relationship with Jesus.
Yep. Even people who are coming to your website, they're already invested. They're just trying to figure out what time they need to have their kid there for whatever it is. So just making sure that you're very realistic about it. And sometimes it hurts a little bit to go, oh, but I wish that we can put on all these different like small ministries we have going on for very specific groups of people. But having that, I think, in reality is just, it's too much to scroll through, to click around to, and people are just going to go, it's okay, we'll click out of it and we'll do the next thing.
There's more ways to get the information for the lutefisk dinner, as important as that is, to the people who are interested in that, those insiders, than it is to connect outsiders or people who are on the fringe with Jesus. Right.
Yep. Think about it as your front door.
Yeah.
Think about the people that that you're wanting to serve as the church, the people that we are called to serve as the church, the people who are unchurched, that are not going to church right now or not going to your church or whatever, and get real about some of those questions. Have a conversation with your team. And this goes for any industry for that matter. You know, everybody's trying to grow and do well and be successful. You want your website to be clean, have big buttons. You want it to be mobile friendly. That term is not even a term anymore, but I say it because so many websites are still not mobile friendly. You click on a website and it's like you're supposed to be looking at a computer, and on your phone you have to zoom way in, and the numbers are showing 70 to 80% depending on the industry. 65 to 80% depending on the industry are coming from a cell phone. Of traffic, website traffic, are coming from cell phones because of social media.
Well, in that story you were telling us about New York, how many years ago was that? Bless you.
2000. Oh man, that's a great question. That was at least 10 years ago.
So 2010, that was 10.
Probably 2011.
So maybe. That was a decade ago, and you were looking for this church on your phone.
On my computer, actually.
Oh, you were?
I was
okay.
On my computer.
Okay.
Because I was more so curious, because I was web development at that time, building websites. So I was like, how are these laid out? What does this look like? And so I was on my computer looking at it.
Well, I don't like,
but still, I mean, point remains. Yeah.
Right. I mean, even things like Amazon and like the things you do daily, I don't do that on my computer anymore.
Right.
Like,
I know.
Everything's from my phone. And right. I would agree with you that this is multi-industry. You know, if I'm looking, we had a plumber come the other day, and, you know, I was looking up their websites on my phone, and if I get on there and it's confusing, or it looks like it's from before 2001, those are things I'm like, I bet there's another option. Whether that's the reality or not, but it's this perception of, if they can't handle something as simple as a website, can they really help me on this? And that's maybe not the truth, but it is the reality.
Yeah, it's very true. I think there's a level of intentionality that goes into it. And if that is our goal as a church, is to help new people get involved, help new people develop a relationship with Jesus, then we have to take our online presence super seriously. And that's not just how we do online church, online worship, but that's how we present ourselves as a church on our website. So some things you can do right now: I would go to your website or whoever's doing your website, go to that person if you need to, and just talk through, okay, what are they landing on? What are they seeing right away? Okay, do we want that? Do we have so much information? Get involved over here, get involved here, get involved here, give here. And just be very real about it. And the nice thing about the internet is that you can keep changing it. Like, whatever you do today is not set in stone. It doesn't mean that you have to, you know, well, we'll try this for the next year and see how it works. No, I would make this a monthly thing, and make sure your website is set up in a way that you can track the traffic that's coming through, and you can track what buttons they're clicking on. You don't know who it is due to privacy things, but you can see what people are actually clicking on, what pages of your website are most popular, what page of your website did you think was going to be so good? Like, people are going to love to read the detailed history of our church and understand exactly how this church started, which really is probably a pretty cool story. But if you spend a ton of time making that one page, like, this needs to be on here, and it was hit one time in the last 6 years, I mean, that's a reality. That's something you go, okay, that's what the numbers are telling us. Let's get rid of that page. Let's get it out of here. Let's clean this up. I would do just a real nice audit of your website, and make sure that you're being intentional. And if you have questions on this stuff, reach out to us about it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's real estate on your webpage. That is real estate that got looked at once and isn't doing anything for your mission.
Yep. You cannot think of it as just that other thing now. It's just that thing that, oh yeah, people go to the website a little bit. No. If people are going to check you out, you need to 100% assume that they're going to look at your website first. Yeah. Your website is by far the first thing they will check out before they ever step foot in your door. So making sure that that is as great as it can be is huge. And if you need to get some nice pictures on there, invest in that. If you need to get a video made for your landing page, invest in that. Those are very important things.
Mm-hmm. That's one of those things that Aussie Dave says a lot. Like, we know that people are going to be connecting with your church long before they connect within your church. And that's something he said years before COVID even happened. And that's only changed exponentially since then. Like it's not, people aren't driving around one day and see that the church doors are open and like, oh, let's go check it out. No, they have looked and they have researched and they have planned. And like, you need to be, if you are going to be the people who tell people about Jesus, you need to be the one who's capturing them and engaging with them online with the church, with these people long before you'll ever see them in person.
Totally.
Well, awesome.
Yes. Thanks for the time, Nolan.
Yeah, I know. I learned a lot.
Share if you enjoyed this video. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit subscribe, hit like, share it with some colleagues, pastor friends that you have, or if you work in an organization or a business that you know the website is not solid, hit share and start having these conversations. Get real about your website, get real about what your online presence is. It's going to affect the way you can grow as a church, as an organization, as a business. It plays a big role in what you're able to do.
Yep, absolutely. So, all right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next week. God bless.